Hey guys, FMOS26 here, and welcome back to highlights of AOR Season 16, Round 7 of the season today at France, the Circuit Paul Ricard. And as you can see at the end of qualifying here, we are on the super soft compound tyres, which we'll be qualifying on today. We've decided not to go for the ultra soft because we're not a fan of trying to stretch those for the one stop, and we think the super soft will be the fastest strategy going on to the softs for the end of the race. As you come through turn 1 and 2 there, we haven't been as committed through turn 2 as I would have liked, and that's going to cost us time all down this straight towards the chicane at the end of sector 1 into the chicane. Now take a bit of curve on the inside before swinging it left through the second part, ride the curb to hook you around the corner there before swinging it right and through this long right hander, run the car out wide. We probably could have used more of the track there, if I'm honest with you, as we head down the DRS straight now towards the chicane, which is a crucial corner, and you need to get a good exit out of it as there's another long flat out run towards sector 3. We break down into 4th gear, probably down to 3rd for the second apex, and indeed we do get the power on nice and early as we've now got car ahead of us. Big C being an absolute legend, he's bottled his lap and he's giving us slipstream here, so thank you to Big C for doing that as we head through the flat right hander now, managing not to cut it, which you can actually do. It's difficult to predict how much the car's going to turn in as we now head through this long right hander down to 4th, run the car out while we've done that pretty nicely as well. Only 3 corners to go now. Down to 3rd here, avoid that inside curb as it will unsettle the car. Run out wide, get the power on early as we now come towards the penultimate corner, this long left-hander. Down through the gears, down to 3rd as it tightens up, then back up to 4th briefly before swinging the car into the final corner. 1st gear, get on the power and straighten up the car. DRS on as we head towards the line, and it's going to be a 1 minute 29.6 here, matching my time from ILR. Pretty solid lap, and that's going to get us only 9th on the grid here. A lot of Ultrasoft runners. Sebro takes pole on the Ultrasofts ahead of Nicole, the Giant and Shamil. Jack has managed to bang it on the Super Softs ahead of Dylan, who's on the Ultrasofts actually. Matty, Stewie and myself, with Midget being extremely unlucky and managing to qualify 10th on the Ultras, which he'll now have to start on. But yeah, a lot of variance in strategy today, so we're going to be able to see what does come out on top. Sebro, if he can get away at the start, has a lot of cars between him and the super soft runners, so maybe he will be able to make his strategy work. We'll have to wait and see really. But we are on the grid now for the French Grand Prix, the inaugural AOR French Grand Prix. Hopefully it can go better than my debut at France in ILR, where we didn't finish. So standards are low, it must be said. We're just making a couple of changes to the setup. We're going to bring the brake bias down because the front left overheats a lot around this track. As you can see, the game telling us super soft, put a lot of fuel in the car due to the long straights, and we'll now prepare ourselves for the lights. We have 1 light, now we have 2, 3 lights, 4 lights, and we have 5 red lights here in France. It's lights out and away we go. It's a very narrow track, so we need to be careful as we run down towards turn 1. We haven't got a great start. We've got Visualize looking on the inside and Midget on the outside. Visualize actually jumped us from all the way back in 11th, but we're now going to have a look around the outside. The other tour also of Stewie, but the outside is not the place to be for turn number 1, and we've just been able to slot in behind Stewie and Matty there. So we remain 9th. Visualize has dropped back as it's now Midget still in 10th on his Ultra Soft. As we make our way through the end of sector 1, we've sort of put our nose in a place it shouldn't have been there up the inside of Stewie. He left the gap and went for it. Jack's had a poor start. He's down a place or 2 as Matty's now on the back of him as we head towards the chicane here. We need to be careful. We've dropped back from Stewie a bit as Midget's in the slipstream, but we've remedied that with a bit of overtake here. Stewie's having a look at the Williams into the chicane. He's going to be on the inside, but he backs out. That's given us an opportunity around the outside, and there's chaos as a Force India spun. We've had to cut the corner there and got an illegal overtake, and we've had to let Stewie back through, which has unfortunately let Midget through as well. And yeah, Nicole just getting caught up in an instant there. I think Sebro hit her, and then Dylan gave her wing damage, hitting her second time as we head down towards sector 3 now. It's all piling up with cars everywhere. Midget's gone in too deep. Then we might be able to have a look up the inside into this right hander. Indeed we do, but he's able to swing it back around the outside as we now got Dylan defending his position. He's got damage from the Nicole incident. Midget up the inside of Stewie here as well, and there's contact between the two of them. I'm guessing that was lag, but Midget's come off the throttle there, and that's given us an opportunity into the penultimate corner, and a very, very hectic first lap, and we got the move done. Up into, I think, P7 here, and Dylan dives into the pits as the Giant actually sets the fastest lap, so he's managed to get into the lead. So Dylan clearly had damage, but Midget's coming back at us now as we head down towards turn 1 for the second time. He's got a better exit off the last corner. He's going to have a look up the inside with his ultra soft tyres, but he doesn't go for that. We've cut the corner there, and that's already a warning for us, which is extremely infuriating because we can't be affording to give away cheap warnings like that given the corner cutting nature around this track as we head down towards the chicane. So Stewie is out of the equation at the moment. The fastest guy, clearly, well, although he's not winning the championship, who's previously the fastest guy, but he's had a couple of poor races where Jack's been able to take home the win. So this gives us an opportunity, maybe, although Jack is still up ahead of us and Matty in what will be P4. We've got a run on the Williams now, heading down towards the chicane. Are we going to be able to go later on the brakes? Yes, we are up the inside the Williams. We've gone in too deep. We made contact there. We spun. We've been hit by the Renault, and we're round. Minty's hit us. Humperdinck's hit us. It's all kicking off here. The safety car has been deployed, and we've got a stop go there for that collision. Bigsy comes past as well, and yeah, I hold my hands up for that one. I was a bit optimistic on the brakes and just unfortunately spun off Matty's rear tyre and caused absolute chaos. It would help if the game had decided to ghost me, but that's not something that can be provided apparently. But yeah, that's us down at the back, but luckily the safety cars come out, which is going to negate any disadvantage that people may have lost as a result of their collision. But still not very good driving for me. We did get a stop go, which because the game is bad won't be able to be served under the safety car, so we'll have to serve that under the green unless we can somehow manage to get the softs to go to the end, and even then I don't see that penalty getting removed, to be honest. It was definitely my fault. So we are going to come in for the softs, and we'll assess whether we can get them to the end as Minty comes in, as does Bigsy here at the end of lap number 2. But yeah, despite me definitely being at fault for that, no one decided to take the incident to the stewards, which I'm pretty grateful for, because that would have been a very large penalty if they had been taken to the stewards, in my opinion. But luckily I got away with that one. I mean, the safety car did probably influence that. If the safety car didn't come out, I think I would have been in a lot of trouble. But the race has been neutralised. Everyone's been given a free pit stop pretty much, and we're going to rejoin right at the back of the field in position number 13 here with Minty, Nicole and someone else behind us. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, not terrible, I guess. We've managed to not lose out too much due to the safety car, and here's the slow motion replay. We're not too late on the brakes. I think we've made the apex of the corner, but just always understeering. Clip the rear tyre, that's just sent us into a spin, and at this point there's nothing I can do really. I don't get why the game didn't ghost me when I've spun around in the middle of the track. I tried to get out of the way by putting on throttle. My teammate CJ just manages to avoid us here, and yeah, I'm facing backwards at that point. Not much I can do, and yeah, just Humperdinck going into me and getting damaged as well. Quite unfortunate really, but these things happen. It's the first real mistake I've made all season in terms of causing a collision, and we'll try and make it sure it's the last, because I don't really want to be going around causing collisions like that. But it's coming to the end of lap 3. The Humperdinck is clearly not happy with whatever tyres he's been given, and he now heads into the pit for a different set of tyres, which promotes us up into P12 here, just behind Midget, who managed to jump us after the crash. But now lap 4, safety car is coming in, so we're going to need to do 23 laps on this set of softs if we want to get them to the end, which is unlikely, I'll be honest, but we'll have to assess the situation. I suspect it'll be quicker to go for a set of supers or ultras near the end. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we're going to be having a look at Midget. We're going to try and be vigilant on the restart, try and nail it. Jack's done it interestingly. He's gone for it as close behind the safety car as he can, so he waits for the game to reach him. Midget's misjudged the final corner there. He's got a poor exit. We're going to get in the slipstream of the Renault here. So we head down the pit straight. He's going very aggressively defensive. We're going to squeeze past on the inside. He's pushed me off the track there, but we got the move done. I mean, I'm not giving that place back. He's just squeezed me off the track there, and we've just about managed to squeeze through. And we've got huge oversteer off turn 2. Midget just not very happy with how his race was going, and decided to be as aggressive as possible. He's now got a spun Sauber there. That was Shamil who got involved in an incident with Dylan, as Midget decides that he doesn't need to take the chicane. And we've now got Connor Sebro down all the way here. Boosie's managed to get past him as well, so I don't know if he got caught up in that incident as well. But yeah, Midget's defending pretty aggressive, but I decided that nothing really came of it. And it wasn't worth taking to the stewards, but we do need to be wary now that we do have 2 warnings, although I think that warning can probably get removed, because I I really didn't have anywhere to go. So we technically only on one warning, and hopefully that one can get removed if we do get a penalty. But we've got a great run on Zebro. He just isn't using ERS seemingly, and we're able to slide up the inside, have to lift off as we're not confident on the turn-in, but that's still us up another position here, up into P9. So a good restart for us, but we've run very wide in the long right-hander, but we're just about able to hold on to the position here. And yeah, Zebro caught napping there really. I don't understand why my overspeed was so great on the straights. I just guess he was either saving fuel or ERS, because our exits seemed pretty comparable, and even with the slipstream I shouldn't have been able to get the move done that easily in my opinion. But there we go, we're right onto the back of Big Z straight away here as Visualize sets the fastest lap at the end of lap 5, and we'll be looking to get the move done on Big Z. But at the moment we drop back on the straight. Our exits from the final corner definitely weren't the best as we head into turn 1 for the 6th time here. Once again with Giant and I think that's Dylan battling, and Giant's lost the position now. Big Z's going to have a look into the chicane, but I'm not sure he's close enough. He isn't. He tucks in behind the Ferrari driver as we've actually got the red cross next to Big C's name, which means he's lagging. We're just about able to slide around the outside of him there, and yeah, he unfortunately had a screen freeze, but that's compromised our line greatly through that right hander, which is going to lose us time all down the straight. So Zebro is pretty close to us. We need to be wary. We might have to put the fuel up into Rich, the ERS up to overtake. Luckily DRS is not yet enabled, so Zebro won't have such a good run that he might have. But he's still having a look on the inside. Do I back myself on the brakes into the chicane after earlier's mistake? Yes, I do. We're able to commandingly take that apex and just about maintain what is now P8 for the moment, and we need to get after the Giant. Hopefully we're not haven't fallen out with DRS, but we actually had. It took us a couple of laps, but lap 9 we're now back in the DRS. Giant is having a look at my teammate CJ, who's on the softs, which he started on, I believe, or super softs rather, which he started on. They're going side by side through the chicane. We're going to go for the cutback. CJ squeezed Giant out on the exit, which is going to give us the superior line and traction. We had to get off the throttle a bit as we almost ran into the back of him, and CJ being an absolute legend here, giving me the slipstream, which has allowed me to pull alongside and now pass the Giant into the flat right hander, and hopefully he won't be able to hold it on the outside as we head into here, and indeed he can't. CJ, we don't want to go up the inside here. We want to allow him to have the position, despite me saying that I have made it a bit awkward for him. But thank you very much, CJ, if you are watching this, for giving me the slipstream there and allowing me to move my way up past the Giant, now into P7 here. We're making moves here. We're on the recovery drive, and hopefully CJ won't make life too difficult for us as we head into the final corner. Are we going to get a sufficient exit off the turn? No, I don't think we're going to be close enough. It depends if he decides to let me go or not, but I don't think he is. I think we're going to have to make our way past later on in the race and then get after Dylan, who I believe is actually on the ultra soft tyres. So he's going for the ultra soft soft strategy here, whereas we're going for the reverse, or with an ultra soft stint at the end, or maybe even super softs, depending on how well these tyres last. Super softs might be the better long-term strategy. Will limit the undercut and also mean we can be faster for longer, as we're now all over the back of our teammate here. He's run quite wide there. We've been able to carry similar speed without running so wide, as he has to cut back in there, which will give us the better run. And I've made it pretty awkward for myself here because I haven't gone in the slipstream, and I don't want to pull back in the slipstream in case there's a desync incident where I spin him off. But we've made the move done pretty easily before the chicane, get the car stopped nicely and make the apex as we now move up past our teammate into position 6, with Dylan absolutely obliterating the exit now. And now my teammate's under pressure from the Giant, so we're going to repay the favour from the previous lap, give him the slipstream into the flat right hander, and I think he is able to maintain that position, and indeed he is. CJ doing the God's work for us there and helping us out on our surge through the field after the incident and the safety cars. We're now on the back of Dylan. I suspect his ultra softs are pretty second hand by this point, lap 10. I suspect he'll be wanting to come in for the super softs, and we got a much better exit of that corner. We're going to have a look into the penultimate corner. Maybe we can get the move done in the penultimate corner and still get DRS, so that's what I'm thinking. There's the DRS line, so now we can go for the move. We're going to go up the inside, which is going to give us the outside, and then go for the cutback in the final corner. He probably wants to go in the pits, so that's pretty awkward, and indeed he has to back out there before switching to the inside to go into the pits, which moves us up into position 5 there, which is now made position 3 as there's more cars in the pit lane at the end of that lap. So an incredible fight back from the safety car, where we are P12 on the restart, and then 5 laps later we're in P3, and at the end of the next lap we've caught the Williams of Matty Man, who is we were behind on lap 2 before the collision. He's continued on his super softs, which he started on, and is now heading into the pits along with the race leader, which is Visualize, which is going to promote us into P1 here, and CJ into P2, which means it's very briefly at the end of lap 11 a Haas 1-2, and I think Minty's actually now going to relinquish my teammate of that position. But yes, a brief Haas 1-2 for the boys there. And that was pretty much all that happened for the rest of that stint. I've decided lap 16, I don't like these tyres very much, and we're going to come in for a set of super softs to take us 11 laps to the end. There'll be fresh super softs, and hopefully we'll be able to use them nicely. But penalty, as you may remember, well, you should remember, I did get a stop go for blowing up like 3 people on lap 2, so we're going to have to serve that penalty, which means the pit stop will be longer. Sebro came in on the previous lap, I noticed on the mini-map from behind to go for the undercut. Minty's in on this lap as well, so as you can see, he's already passed us and the team hasn't even started serving us yet. So the penalty has cost us dearly here, but I can't really argue with it. It was 100% deserved, if I'm honest with you, and we're going to drop well out of the points once again to position 10, 11 and 12 as Sebro and CJ go past us. So we've got 10 laps here. What can we do from 12th with 10 laps to, or 11 laps to go technically? Can we get back up in the points? Where will we end up? There's a lot of different strategies, a lot of people on the softs, some people on the super softs as well, so we're going to have to see where we all play out as we skip to the end of the next lap, or that lap even, lap 17. We've caught up to the back of our teammate CJ already, and if we still can't get a good exit at the final corner, that's really something I need to work on, as Bixie's in the pits, which moves us up into 11th, and the Humperdinck in the pits as well, which moves us up into the points as we're on the back of our teammate CJ. Not close enough into turn 1. We've missed the apex ever so slightly, but that's going to give us a better run through turn 2. We've absolutely nailed that. We're getting on the power here in the slipstream of our teammate. Are we maybe even going to go for a move into the chicane? We're close enough up the inside. CJ lets us go early, but still pretty aggressive move from myself there. I know that I need to be making the moves, and hopefully CJ doesn't go past with the DRS and is willing just to sit behind us and let me drag him along here. He knows he's not in my fight, and after the race I did thank him for being very cooperative, and indeed he's not close enough to go for a move anyway, so that's us up into P9 here. As next up is Sebro. Minty sets the fastest lap at the end of that lap, but we're going to go and beat it. Wallop, fastest lap from me. Once again, it's not been the 14 fastest laps from last week, but that's the fastest lap number 1 for today, and at the end of the next lap, that's fastest lap number 2 as Shamil's in the pits, which moves us up into position 8, I think. Indeed it does, and we've caught up to the back of Sebro on lap 21, who's having a look on the back of, is this Dylan, I think? Indeed it is Dylan on his soft tyres. Is much slower than Sebro. They're pretty worn soft tyres at this stage. He's done 10 laps on them pretty much, and Sebro is having a look as we head in towards the start of sector 3. They're side by side, but Sebro doesn't quite appear to have the overspeed as we head through the flat right hander. He has the inside though. He's able to force Dylan out wide, which should give him the higher ground into here, and we've had a look up the inside of Dylan, just taking the opportunity as it arose there, and we've squeezed our way through. That's a very sensible and clever move from myself there, just waiting for the opportunity to arise and going back up the inside, but Dylan's still fighting it. He does not want to lose this position, but he's not going to have an easy time fighting it. There's so many laps left, and into the penultimate corner he does back out, although we do understeer past the second apex, but we're able to get the car turned into the final corner without many issues, and Dylan is not close enough as we come across the line. So we now have to have a look at Sebro, who undercut us by 1 lap due to our penalty, and we're pretty close into turn 1, but nowhere near going for the move as we've understeered past the apex once again, as Sebro's one very wide on the exit of turn 2. That's 100% a warning, and Dylan's actually got a better run than us as well, but he's not willing to turn up the modes to go for it into turn number 3. It's probably not actually turn 3, but there we go. We'll have to see if he's close enough on the straight. Luckily, the fact that we're behind Sebro should be our saving grace here, and we should be immune from Dylan, as we'll also have the DRS, although we've not got a very good run out of the exit of the first sector there, which means we're not going to be close enough into the chicane at least, but maybe we will be close enough into the start of sector 3 as we head through the chicane now. We nailed that apex, getting the car swung, and we've sort of understeered past the apex. The exit hasn't been great. I don't think we're close enough to Sebro to go for the move, if I'm honest with you, but will the overspeed be as great as it was earlier in the race? Yes, it is. We're closing on him already. We're going to have a look up on the inside, and he leaves us the space very kindly there, and we're able to swing it through past him on the inside, which moves us up into position 6 now, with Minty next up, just up the road, which will allow us to have position 5. Obviously he jumps in the pit stop as well when we had to serve the penalty, but this battle with Sebro isn't over yet. We are notoriously poor out of the last corner, and we'll have to see if he is willing to go for the move into turn number 1 as we get the car turned in for the penultimate corner and now the final corner. Can we get a good exit? Sebro is pretty close. The exit hasn't been bad, but we don't have DRS. We're going to have to utilise the fuel and the ERS here if we want to defend the position, but no, he's not close enough, and we will be able to defend the position into turn 1 here. He's nowhere near close enough as we head into the corner, but we cut the corner there, and that's a penalty, which is absolutely disastrous for us, but remember that second warning we got when Midget squeezed us off the track on the straight, that can be removed. So if we don't get any more warnings for till the end of the race, we can get that penalty removed, as we've already started to close up to Minty and Matthew Man. And there's been a spin there. Minty's running to the back of the Williams at the end of sector 1. Minty has slowed down to wait for him very sportingly, so fair play to Minty for doing that. But that's allowed us up into P4 here. But this battle with Sebro isn't over yet. We haven't got the DRS. I don't know where the detection point is, which means Sebro is going to have the opportunity at the longest straight on the track. He's closing, but he's not close enough, and we're able to brake freely and get the car stopped without any dive bombs from the Mercedes into the chicane. And he's not got a good enough exit of the chicane, and with no DRS on this straight, we should be free to take position 4 with Jack the next car in position 3, but I think a bit too far up the road, if I'm honest. And indeed it was. Our tyres have started to wear as we now skip on to lap number 25, as we're having a look going defensive into the chicane. Sebro is stuck with us despite having the older tyres, and we're going to have to defend for these last couple of laps if we want to pick up position 4 here. Sebro does have a penalty, so we don't have to worry about that, although we haven't got any more warnings, so the penalty can be removed at this stage if we want it to be. So maybe we can be on for a podium here if people ahead have penalties. I suspect Jack won't, but maybe Visualize will. If he has a couple of penalties, we'll be in the window for P3 here, assuming we can keep Zero behind. His pace is much better than me at this stage. He's maintained his tyres a lot better than I have. I've been pretty aggressive in my charge up the field, and as a result the tyres have worn out quite a bit. We've got 2 laps and 1 corner to go. Will we be able to keep the Mercedes man behind as we start the penultimate lap here? He's pretty close. He's got a good run on the pit straight. We're not going to be able to defend much. We're using Rich and overtake. There's not much we can do. As I look up the inside, we're going to be very aggressive, late on the brakes, squeezing him towards the apex. A bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there, as he didn't want to turn in as early as I would have liked him to do, and he's got the move done right outside of turn 2 there, and I don't think we're going to be close enough. He goes defensive, so we'll try and go for the cutback to the chicane. He's locked up and run deep, so we should have the better line through the chicane and through this corner. He's taken a very tight line, but he's managed to get a good exit, just showing how good his rear tyres are compared to mine, and a hugely better exit from there, even though he had a slide and we didn't. So even with a DRS, I don't think we're going to be close enough on the first straight. But remember, from the previous experiences in the race, the overspeed on the second straight from me is much bigger compared to his speed. We're close into the chicane, but not close enough to go for the move. Can we get a better exit from the chicane? We went for the very tight line. The car slid through the apex there. It's not going to be enough, I don't think. He's pulling away from us now, even as we go up through the gears, turn up the fuel and the ERS, but no, we're not close enough, and I'm not having the confidence in the tyres to dive into the right-hander. I don't think we're too far back. He's gone in quite deep, so maybe we can slide it up the inside, but no, we've also understood he's missed the apex by a mile. We've made the apex, so we're looking pretty good here, and we can stick with him onto the last lap. We can maybe make a move, but we've slid past the apex, missed that by a mile for the third to last corner. He's got a better exit, and with us being so poor off the final corner, we're going to struggle to keep with him here, as we've understood through the penultimate corner as well, just showing how poor the tyres were from me. I did push a lot to try and make sure we could get this position. Our exit from the last corner is as terrible as ever, and we're not going to be close enough, nowhere near close enough into turn 1 to get the move done on the Mercedes here. So we're going to get it done at all. It's going to have to be on the straight, but at this point we haven't got any extra warnings, but never mind, we just absolutely obliterated turn 2 there, so even if we could have had that penalty removed before, we definitely can't now, as we've got extra warnings as we head into the chicane here, and we've cut that as well, and that's a penalty. That's 3 warnings in 3 corners. Good effort, and there's my second penalty, but we don't cut any more corners for the rest of this lap. We can probably get that one removed at least, but any prospect of beating Sebro on penalties has now just been thrown away in 3 corners of madness. We've dropped well out of DRS despite our best efforts at blowing up all the corners, so the tyre grip really wasn't there at the end of the race compared to Sebro, so fair play to him for managing it better than me, and as a result he's going to come away with the podium, well, with 4th today. We'll have to see if that turns into a podium. In terms of penalties, I doubt Jack will have any, but as I said, Visualize. Stewie maybe, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Unfortunately, Dylan also only has 1 penalty, and we're going to drop behind him in the provisional race results, but at the time of recording, I don't know, but I think my penalty is getting removed, so we should end up back ahead of Dylan after the race. And as you can see, we just dropped back so much on this last lap. We really didn't look after the tyres, and that is something I do need to work on this game. My tyre wear hasn't been up there. Bahrain was pretty good, to be fair, in AOR, not in other leagues, but Stewie wins the race. He didn't pick up any penalties, so he will keep the win, as Jack takes 2nd on Visualize's penalties. Sebro takes 3rd, and we take what becomes 6th. but hopefully if my penalties get removed, we'll become 4th. And there's also more inquiries to come, with Sebro also under investigation for the lap 1 incident with Nicole. So if things go our way, we might get a podium. I don't know at the time of recording. I'll let you know at the start of the next highlights vids. But congrats to Stewie on the win, back on the top step after a couple of races without a podium. Jack, ever consistent, taking home 2nd once again, and Sebro in 3rd for the time being. We'll have to wait and see how that one turns out. But yeah, congrats to those guys on their podium. And it was Visualize in 4th, Dylan in 5th, and me in 6th provisionally, of course. I'm expecting to be 4th once my penalty hopefully gets removed. 7th was, I don't know, Minty maybe, I think, with the Humperdinck in 8th, CJ in 9th, and the Giant in 10th, or Matty Man in 8th maybe. It's on screen now. I apologise for not knowing the results as usual. I'm pretty useless. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Another solid result and a very entertaining race here around France for AOR, and I'll see you very soon for Austria highlights. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.